Barrie.
We are here in the beautiful east end of Barrie, overlooking the wonderful Kempenfeld Bay, with our good friend, Mr. Chris Stephen. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hi, how you doing, Ian? Great to be here. Thanks for having me, man.
So great to have you. Finally, we've been communicating for about a year now, and finally we get the chance to sit down and do this.
I know, it's been such a wacky world for so long now. It's really good to connect with you, man.
So, Chronics.
Chronics.
Tell me more about the Chronics.
Oh my God, the Chronics. The legacy of the Chronics. Well, the Chronics originally started in Toronto in '98. And basically I'm from Toronto originally and then later moved to Mississauga. Spent most of my music career until about the age of about 30 in Toronto, downtown Toronto, playing quite a bit on the original scene. That was, I've been playing the original scene since I was about, well, I guess 16, 17. I used to have to get notes from my parents so I could play. It was kind of funny, right? Because, you know, you got to be 19 or you got to get a parental note to play. So anyway, that's how that all started. But no, we've been doing the original thing for a long time. That's sort of on the forefront of my musical being. Is just that's my main interest, and has always been my main interest, is to be an original musician. So, but as you know, Ian, that's a very difficult thing to measure up to in terms of having any monetary success. You know, you're very much an organic, earthy artist who's coming out with all this stuff, but to sell your wares and to make a living from it, as you know, as an original musician, can be quite difficult, almost sometimes impossible, depending on who you are and how your thing works out. But the Chronics were originally an original band that got together from other bands. Ended up we were a three-piece band, so almost like a Green Day-ish kind of outfit. Okay. We showcased downtown Toronto. We were on a few television shows, and then we ended up getting some record company interest. It was a record label from New York called Attack Records and Filmworks. We signed the deal. It was originally for a 5-song EP, so we came out with a record called Things Your Cat Can't Swallow. And it got some film interest and some things like that, but we had a problem with the record label after some time. There wasn't a lot of support, and it just wasn't moving in the direction we wanted to. So we sort of left that deal as it was and moved on from there. We started to sort of look into new management and look into new labels and things like that. And we started doing an independent record. Got into that for, I guess, about $10,000 between the three of us, and we just ran out of dough, you know, and we were stuck with, I don't know, 7 or 8 really, I think, really strong bed tracks, real basic tracks, bass guitar, rhythm guitars, and then no money to put the sugar on the cake, right? So we ended up getting sort of frustrated about that. The only option for us really at the time was I was starting to get phone calls because we'd done some cover gigs in the past and things like that. I was starting to get some calls from agents about, you know, perhaps playing as a cover band as well and doing some road, which at the time, during all that confusion, letdown, heartbreak, and desperation, seemed to be the best option for us to keep the whole thing moving. So we ended up actually getting 3 or 4 agents. And then at that time, that was, call it early 2000s. So at that time, you could play Ontario top to bottom every night if you wanted to. There were front ends, so you'd go into a club, you know, Sunday's your travel day. You get into a club on a Monday, you play till Wednesday, and then, you know, Thursday you're somewhere else to Saturday doing the back ends, right? So we ended up becoming such a busy cover band. We were playing 5 nights a week at least, and living together in a band house, So it just went that way, went really strong in that department. And I think the draw was we were playing in front of tons of people, getting lots of play time, really honing in on our skills too.
With your mind, come along with me, take you to the place the sun don't shine. Well, you could use a fix, take down a button, mess up your hair. Yeah, but throw it all away. Gotta get your hands in the air. Yeah, do what you want. Say what you gotta say. Come steal my heart. Turn the night into day. We'll give them hell to pay. What's it gonna take for you to shake off all the things they said? Stop knocking, but they're never gonna let you in. So baby, throw it all away, grab your shades, put on your old blue jeans. Got to be the fire in your flame, if you know what I mean. Do you know what I mean? Do what you want, say what you gotta say. Steal my heart and turn the night into day. Do what you want and play how you wanna play. Come steal my heart and turn the night into day. We'll give them hell to pay. You want, say what you gotta say. Come steal my heart, turn the night into day. Do what you want, play how you wanna play. Come steal my heart, turn the night into day. Give them hell to pay. Won't we?
You guys, you guys are still going now? Is it full tilt?
Yeah, there's been some slight lineup changes, but the drummer, Franklin Wiles, and myself, we are the core members, and we've been running since '98, and we're still running today. Yeah, we're still
nice.
doing all kinds of different types of things, you know, but the original thing, it's somewhere in the mid 2010 to 12-ish area, sort of ran its course, and there wasn't much happening anymore. So I ended up, because I was living up here now all of a sudden, I started to get really familiar with some of the fantastic players that are up this way. And I ended up forming a band called The Defendants. It was a 4-piece band, really fun to do. We shot a couple videos and stuff, and we ended up recording our 5-song EP at Phase 1, which was a blast. Studio A in Phase 1, just the history of that room.
Nice. Is that Michael Jackson's out of Phase 1?
Michael Jack was the chief engineer at Phase 1 for a long time, but at the time that we had shown up, Jeff Pelche was the engineer at the time for that session. We went in, because of the downtime, we went in on like the less expense because we're coming in. We went in on Easter weekend, so we got to save some dough because who's recording on Easter weekend, right? We are. So we went in on Easter weekend and we ended up recording the whole thing. I came back in to do the vocals for a couple more sessions, and then we released that. That was called The Defendants All Rise, and that was a really fun record. And then, the same thing, we went out, we started playing live as a band, and we got into some Battle of the Bands things, stuff like that. And I don't know, I guess we just run the course for so many years doing original music that here I was seeing it all over again. Oh, here's the 20 band, lump them all together. You got 20 minutes, now get the hell off the stage. Who's next? Go. That kind of vibe. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe the cover thing was a little bit sort of brought this on, but we were playing yachts on Lake Ontario. We were playing casinos. We were playing really nice halls and clubs. And then, so you get a little bit spoiled with that, you know? And so going back right into the basics, I think it was hard for everybody. So it sort of was just left as almost like an Archangel's band, if you will, a one album kind of wonder deal. We're really happy with the album though. I really love the songs, and I still think they hold weight, and I hear people playing them and they seem to like them. So something great came out of it anyway.
Good.
Yeah.
Speaking of Michael Jack, actually, you've been doing quite a bit of recording with him recently, I understand.
Yes, well, I was it's funny where music can take you, as you know, Ian. It takes you all over the place if you sort of are open to that. If you allow it to. And one of the interesting things about doing my own original music for so many years was I had inadvertently become a closet bass player, and had really. I didn't know, but I'd played bass on so many tracks now that I kind of had some chops with it without even knowing. And a friend of mine asked me if I would play, of all things, an Elton John tribute, but it was all 70s Elton John stuff. And I don't know if you've ever heard the bass playing of Dee Murray before, the early Elton John stuff, but it's like, okay,
intricate.
Miyagi, like master bass player, and here I am, just a closet guy trying to hold water to this guy's incredible bass playing, But anyway, I think I kind of, I did my best to pull it off, and the singer wanted to go shoot a demo, or do a demo rather, in some studio in Toronto. Wanted to do excerpts of each song, sort of put a promotional package together to sell the Elton John tribute. So we ended up going to the studio in Toronto one Saturday morning, and in walks this guy. And I'd seen him before, but I wasn't sure who he was. It turned out it was Michael Jack. He was quarterbacking the session. And so it was a wonderful session. We just worked our butts off that day. It was great. We left late that night, got it all done. And that was the end of that, I hadn't heard from Michael ever since then, sort of thing. And, at that time, Ian, I had an 18-song record ready to go called the 18-Song Traveling Companion. And I was going to release this record, but I was really disappointed in some of the production on it, because I can write and perform, but I'm not, that's a whole different deal. You can't necessarily be everything, and so I thought, I was really kind of sort of disappointed with that, So here I am releasing this record, and I'm thinking, I don't even know if I want to release it, I thought the songs were strong, but the production was weak, So I was, how are you going to hold water with what's on the radio, or what's, so what am I going to do? So anyway, stroke of luck, I was sitting on my bed watching cartoons with my beautiful son, watching some Bugs Bunny, and all of a sudden, ring, the phone rang. So I picked up the phone, and some voice on the other line said, "Hey, Chris, this is Michael Jack." And I thought, okay, how's it going, man? Like, how you doing? He says, what are you doing these days? I said, well, just, lots of studio stuff on my own. He says, well, I listened to some of your tracks. He goes, would you be interested in doing a track with me? And so I said, absolutely. Yeah, let's do it, So I ended up giving him, I think it was like a a blues sort of rock ballad thing that I was working
cool.
on, you know. And he called me back and he said, I really like that song, really. But do you have anything rocking? So I said, yeah, well, yeah, I've got a lot of songs stowed away. So I'll give you some rocking ones and have at it, man, if you dig it. That'd be great. So I gave him a couple tracks and he seemed to really like it and seemed to be really enjoying himself with it. So we ended up clicking. And, you know, Michael today, I would even label him as one of my best friends. I think he's just a fantastic
wonderful man.
Well, absolutely wonderful and just so talented, so talented. I always tell him he has Midas ears. He's got golden ears. He can hear things in a mix that I'm not capable of doing. So we developed this relationship where we were openly honest about the whole thing. And I said, listen, I'm very crude, Michael. I'm very crude when it comes to creating art. I can pull it out of the ground. I can slap it together, but I can't weave it finely like you can. He's got this way of mixing and doing things that puts the song at another level.
Yeah,
you know,
he's
so
genius.
we went full on with that, and now I think last time we spoke a couple weeks ago, I think we're pushing the 40-song mark now. So we've got just a boatload.
That's a big catalog.
Nice, beautiful catalog, and that was more his direction too. He wanted to lay out as many songs as we could, and then what we're doing now, because I guess everyone's doing it differently, right? But we sort of took the standpoint of, well, CDs are not being, or CD makers are not being manufactured in cars anymore, right? That's gone the way of the dodo bird. Streaming is the thing now. As much as I'm not interested in how all that works, it is what it is, and we got to roll with it. So with the streaming thing, we decided with this 40 songs, the songs we're still continuing to write and record too, but with the songs we have, we're kind of picking and choosing a few every couple of months and just letting them go as singles, just to sort of keep the wheel working.
you recently had the opportunity to play out of Burles Creek with a very popular, well-known local cover band, Hell's Bells.
I remember getting the phone call. Was the drummer from Honeymoon Suite, friend of mine, Brett Kerrigan, had called me up and said to me, because we had been playing in some bands together at that time, and he said, would you be interested in playing in Hell's Bells? And I said, what do you mean? He says, would you be interested in doing the Angus in that band? And I immediately said, no, I don't want to do it. And he goes, why not? I said, I don't want to imitate anyone. I mean, the cover thing for me is enough. I don't want to go beyond that, you know? And he said, well, think about it. And so we ended the conversation at that. And, you know, I'm so crazy about music in so many ways that I had to keep thinking about it. And then I started, well, the more I thought about it, the more I thought, you know what? I'm being a pretentious knob right now. You know, I mean, I'm being pretentious. I mean, what is the harm in imitating someone? I started to think about it. I thought, well, I do really, I'm not an actor, but boy, do I enjoy acting.
Yeah.
And I love you're an actor. Yeah. I'm not, but I so admire that art form, you know. Why not try it, you know? So I ended up trying it. And then, so next thing you know, he says to me, great. I said, so good. You said, yeah, see you in 5 weeks. First show is such and such a place. I just went,
Holy.
What do you mean? He says, first show's in 5 weeks at such and such a place. And I just went, well, okay. So I started peeling back the material. And I mean, we all know Angus Young is just a sick guitar player. So, you know, the music, I knew most of the music, although that was in itself a project to memorize and get down, but the lead work was the part. I ended up calling him two weeks into it, and I said, I'm giving this my all. I'm like doing this 10 hours a day. Like 10 hours a day, I'm watching videos. I'm, you know, just everything Angus Young. And I'm telling you right now, I don't know if I can do these leads 100% justice. I might have to kind of like wing some of this stuff. And he says, no, come on, it's got to be point on point. I'm like, come on, you got to do this. It's AC/DC. It's got to sound exactly like the records. So I'm just pulling my hair. How am I going to pull this off? But I just relentless. 10 hours a day, pretty much. Get up in the morning, have breakfast, hit the studio, and just till like take breaks, but right up until night, just, you know, blisters on me fingers.
Nice,
you know.
nice.
But got it down. Did our first gig, and I was kind of nervous the next day. I got up, and then a phone call came to my place, and it was Brett. And I said, how was it? He says, you were a little too good, man. I said, no way. He says, no, we really loved you, man. It was great. Welcome to the band. And now it's been like 10 years. I've been in the band, and we've just done some fantastic things. We toured out east a couple times, and we've done theater shows, and just some wonderful things. And so Burles Creek came up. Recently, they're trying to get the whole thing rocking again. So, yeah, we took the opportunity and we went out a few weeks ago and did it. And I have to say that was probably the nicest stage I've ever played in my life. That was just a massive, big crew, you know, just a great experience, Ian.
Used to say that your life is in the mirror. Used to say your life isn't a miracle. Used to say that it ain't worth doing. When you realize there's a storm that's brewing, something is calling you. Do what you wanna do. I've been loved and I've been ruined. I've been down that road before. I'm still looking for a new sensation. Something that's calling you. Do what you wanna do. Used to say that you have to live in fear? Who's to say that you have to live in fear? Who's to say that you should or you shouldn't? It's not about if you could or couldn't. Something is calling you. Do what you want to do. I've been loved, I've been ruined, I've been down that road before, and I'm still looking for a new fascination. Something is calling you. Do what you want to do. Yeah, do what you want to do. Who's to say that your life is in the mirror? Who's to say that you should or you shouldn't? It's not about if you could or couldn't. Something is calling you. Do what you want to do. I've been loved, I've been ruined, I've been down that road before, and I'm still looking for a new sensation. Something is calling you. Do what you want to do. I've been loved, I've been ruined, I've been waiting for the night to come, and I'm still looking for a new sensation. Something is calling you. Do what you want to do. Yeah, do what you want to do.
Where can we catch up in your music? Where can we link up? I know you've got some Facebook stuff, and you've got the Doghouse, the
Yes,
podcast.
absolutely. So
we just got to admit here with if we can.
Sure. What I can do is, I mean, basically, so what I do with my music is I have a, obviously a YouTube page under Chris Steven.
Okay.
So people can look me up on YouTube under Chris Steven, and that houses most of the material plus videos,
Nice.
plus all kinds of things. Then I basically release my music all the time through CD Baby.
Okay.
Everybody has different things, but I like CD Baby because what they do is they put your stuff on every major streaming channel. So you're on Amazon, you're on Apple Music, you're on Spotify. So
Everything.
anything on
Nice.
all the majors, you can find me under Chris Steven or
Perfect.
Chris Steven Music. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show. It was a wonderful chat.
Thank
I'm glad
you,
we finally
Ian.
were able to catch
Awesome,
up. And
buddy.
good